Today we're going to learn how to make pom-poms. Some nice squishy pom-poms. To get started, you're going to need pom-pom maker, yarn, and scissors. Preferably sharp ones. So, you're going to wrap your yarn around this arch. So, you just begin by placing it on the very edge, like this. And you keep wrapping it all the way around to the other side. So, end to end, wrap your yarn. Make sure you're getting into the corners. And then you go back around. You just go as evenly as you can, because you don't want any gaps. This whole arc has to be full. That's how you get the pom-poms nice and sturdy instead of those flimsy ones. Now I like to add colors, many colors to my pom-poms. So at this point, if I felt like switching it up, I would change it about now. So I would take my scissors, cut off this piece, and then you're going to set it to the side, and then take your new color and start wrapping it around, securing that other piece, and just do it all over again. This one doesn't like to come out. Of course, when you want to record something, your yarn doesn't want to cooperate. So again, we're going to go in the corners, but also fill in the center. Now I'm not filling it in all the way, but I am. And how can I be doing both? What I'm going to do is, there may be little gaps here, but they're still going to be filled in with yarn. I'm not leaving the spaces. I'm going to fill it back in using the other color again. So you keep going. I'm going to switch back because this yarn's bothering me. And we're going to go back to the yellow. The yarn that wants to play nice. So again, wrap around, secure the previous yarn as much as you can with the wrapping. It's all going to get cut eventually, so no worries there. Wrap in the corners and then fill in your arc. Fill in your arc. Keep filling in your arc. Now, do not wrap your corners too much, because if your corners get filled in before the middle, I've noticed that it gets harder to build the rest of your pom-pom. So I just put like 1 or 2 in there, and then I keep going to the middle, because you want the middle to grow. You don't want the sides to grow out first, because I don't know, for me, I found through trial and error that it made it tougher to complete. And once the sides are filled in like that, I just couldn't fix the whatever mistakes transpired because of it. So yeah, it's kind of like you have to just be even across the board. Ooh, and it takes some time, but this is what it takes to get a nice fluffy pom-pom. Okay. We're gonna keep going. We're almost there. See, the point is right here. It's a little V. You want it to be flush. So keep going until you can lean against it flush. So we are almost there. It starts to get harder to wind at the edge, like I said, because it has nothing to anchor to. So that's why you keep doing the inside as well. And then you do the outside like that. Okay. We're almost there. Oop. That happens, but you just pick it back up and keep going. And I'm going to stop. Now I just wind up the middle and look, straight across. You can make it a little higher, but basically this is what you want. You want flush. It's nice and thick. This is dense because this is going to be full on pom-poms. So this is exactly what I'm looking for when I'm making a pom-pom. When I used to make them, I would not fill the arc, and it resulted in very flimsy pom-poms. And those didn't make me happy. You know, I like to top my beanies with pom-poms, and I don't like this gap, so I'm gonna open it back up. I like to top my beanies with a nice big pom-pom, something fun to play with and stuff. And yeah, I was not achieving that back in the day, so I learned how to do a better job. So now on the other side, I want to play around and mess with the green, but before I do that, I'm going to pull out some of the green to make my life a little easier. So pardon me. Okay, here we go. We're going to start in the edge again. Wrap it around. And keep winding. If you're feeling fancy, you can start at the halfway point, stop, add a new color, and then continue. Adding colors, you know, adds a lot of flavor to the pom-pom. Like, I don't have a recipe for these. These are just trial and errors, but when I position the yarn different places in the pom-pom maker, the results can be really fun. Like this one, it's the opposite of this side. So, you know, you have so many options. There is Pom Pom art out there, you know, that you can check out. But, you know, the basics of just making a pom pom, a sturdy one in general, that's pretty much what I'm teaching today, with a little playful color changing. You know, so if you know, wanted to match your beanie or make a pom-pom crown, or even making wreaths, you could have some playful colors, you know, in your pom-poms, instead of just switching and making several different pom-pom colors. Maybe remove this would have been a good idea. Yeah. I love another reason why pom-pom making is so much fun. It's a great scrap project. You know, you can make pom-pom crowns, like I said, wreaths, keychains. I've seen people have pom-poms on their different sneakers. Yeah, it's playful. You know, who doesn't want something that, you know, when it makes them smile when they see it. So, right now I'm going to switch up and add my yellow back in, my cooperative yellow yarn, and just kind of come on this side a little bit, and then wrap it around and go back on this side a bit. Wonder how this one's gonna turn out. It's always usually a surprise. Fun fact, when I first started making, I always wanted to make beanies. Beanies was like the first thing that I wanted when I learned how to crochet. And it took me a while before I got to beanies. My beanies were so, I couldn't get like a circle right as far as the curve for it to like fit on a head. And my first ever beanies were actually doilies. So my mom had me flattening out these kind of curved circles to make doilies for her. And when I eventually got the beanies down, thank God to not giving up on yourself. Once I finally learned how to make a beanie, my pom-poms, like I said, were flimsy. And then I had a really cheapy pom-pom maker. So I remember seeing on Amazon these clover pom-pom makers. And I was like, I really need that. I think that will make all the difference. And so I bought it. And then when I started making my pom-poms, I realized that it was me, because they still were flimsy. So I was just not happy. And then my husband decided, you know what, let me try. And he is the one that taught me how to make some not only fuller pom-poms. Him in a tutorial guided me on making them more full, but also he's the one that got me into making them fun as far as the pops of color. So shout out to my husband, because he is the one behind my pom-pom art. So yeah, that was a little fun fact to share. And we're almost finished here, and then we're going to get to the fun part. because the wind up part is a little like, you know, it takes a little minute, but to me it's the shaping of the pom-pom that I enjoy. And yeah, so I'm gonna stop it right about here. Ooh. All right, so I think that's sturdy enough. Okay, so now we close. When it feels like a little thick to get in, that's a good pom-pom right there. And then we cut. So now these each have, the arcs each have like a little groove on the edges. So you're going to have the groove where you could stick the scissors in, right, like this. And we're gonna start to cut. You just take your time, and you gotta have a sharp scissors because clovers to me are the best, because I've used other scissors and I did not get this fast cut when it comes to cutting the pom-pom off of the machine, the pom-pom maker. So hold it down, make sure you're holding it securely, and you just continue to cut until you reach the other side. Nice. So now we flip it, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Be careful with your fingers. At the beginning, you're just kind of securing it, so you want to hold it carefully, but you don't want to hurt yourself. Now I'm going to hold it a different way. Look at that go. Oh, I love these scissors. Again, clover. Look at that. Woo! All right. So now both sides are cut. You're going to take a decent size length of yarn. I like to tie mini knots in my pom-poms because with all of this yarn, you want to make sure it's secure. So in these same grooves where you just cut, you're going to pull the yarn through on to the other side, and hold on, I'm going to even it out a bit. Okay, so now I tie my first secure knot. It's just two together, right? Now don't pull too tightly. If you pull too tight, your yarn will pop, and then you'll, you know, it's not going to secure anything, and you're going to have to start over. So you pull enough, and then you turn it over, and then again we're going to tie another one. You do as many as you feel comfortable with. Me personally, I've had a pom-pom unwind on me before, like come apart. I do not like that because it's a waste, and I do not know how to fix it once the pom-pom has, undone. And that's just a bunch of scrap yarn down the drain. I'm sure you could do other things with it, but it's no longer a pom-pom. So that's the second one I've done. This is the third, I believe. But I do a lot. Now, some people may think that's a bit much, but to me, these pom-poms I've made, they have not come undone for the mere fact that I have secured them over and over again. So they have remained fluffy. These are a few years old, and they're from beanies that I've made. and they don't fall apart. So that's just me personally. Like I said, I know other people who probably just tie it twice. I don't trust that for mine. I know I tie mine, so I put so much yarn in my pom-poms. I just don't want to risk it getting undone on me. So, oh, and this is exactly what I was just telling you could happen. Oh my gosh. Why during the tutorial? So what do you do in that scenario? I still have a long piece here. And you can still salvage it by, okay. Next time I should use the thicker yarn of the two. The yellow is the thinner of the two, so pardon me. Oh, no. I am having a hell of a blooper here. Wow. So we're going to just tie this up. What I will do instead is use the green yarn, which I should have done in the first place, but you want to, I should have said that. You want to use the thicker yarn if you're using multiple yarns, because you've seen it happen twice if I decide to share this, that they can break on you. Your yarn, with the pulling, will break. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to secure this again, but with the green, because I don't want to risk that I made this pom-pom for nothing. Anyway, I do not have a beanie these colors, so if you would like this pom-pom, you know, like and subscribe, and I will send it to the first person who likes and subscribe. How about that? Within the US. Yeah. Be kind of far to ship a pom-pom. Anywho, so I am going to stop here because let's quit while we're ahead. So anyway, now at this point we're secure. Right? I hope. So now you're going to peel back these arcs. Ugh. Because it's a thick yarn, you may have to fight a little bit. But it gets easier as you get to the last one. So this is what it looks like when you take it apart. It's easy to put back together, and boom, there's the pom-pom maker. Here is your pom-pom though. You give it a little shake, right? And look, this is the design. Oh my gosh, this is kind of cute. All right, I never did these colors before. So now this is my fun part. You start to shave, you give it a little haircut. So what I like to do is kind of like this pinching method, and you just kind of even it out, you know, even it out. Wherever you see like this sticking up, you can even it out. It looks like a football when I finish, so I tend to go to the sides and just round it out. Now this side. So now we're gonna just keep cutting until we get a more rounder pom-pom. Now, cutting your pom-pom, this little haircut, can become very addictive. So be careful not to cut too much. I know it looks like I'm cutting a lot, but I'm keeping in mind that, you know, it's not gonna be perfect, but I do want it to be round and full. So you check afterwards, see how it's looking, see how it's going, and then you cut some more if needed. Still cutting. Really? Okay, we edit it out. Okay, so far, but I still want to cut some more, so keep cutting. And this is, you know, to your liking. You don't have to cut as much as I have cut. But the trim, you know, does help in the shaping. So you do what feels comfortable to you, you know. Mine is getting a full makeover. So, can you mix yarns? That's a question I tend to get. I have, and these two right here are ones, they're both worsted weight, but one's on the thinner end than the other. So does it show sometimes? Yeah, it does. Does it work against you? I don't think so. Like, so far, I like how it came out, you know? The yellow is a little stringier looking and the green fills in a bit more. But sometimes these are two types of yarn that really pack in really tightly. So they look like a big cotton ball. And then you have other yarns that are very stringy, and this is like really soft. And this a very soft acrylic. So even though it's full, it's still almost like a shag carpet kind of feel. And then this one, it's thicker and also packed, but not as packed as this one. You know what I mean? This is also more of on the squishier side. And these are also two types of different yarns. They're both worsted. This one's just a little on the, it's a little rougher, and this one's on the softer end, a little shinier yarn. So like, you can play with different textures. You just have to wrap it accordingly. The thinner yarn, you're gonna have to wrap more to fill in the gaps and things like that. But anyway, so like I said, you keep cutting until you're comfortable. Obviously, I am not yet because I got out my handy scissors to shave some more. So, anyway, when you're done, this is what you have. Your Pom Pom. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. I can't wait to see yours.